Okay, so welcome to the deep dive, everybody. Today, we're diving into something that I think a lot of people are interested in, passive income.
Yeah, for sure.
And specifically, we've got this podcast episode that lists out 10 ideas
Right.
that people are using to hopefully, build a little financial freedom. So we thought we would go through these 10 ideas
Yeah.
and kind of pull out the most promising ones, give you some steps on what to do, but not overwhelm you.
Yeah.
We don't want to give you 100 different things to do.
Right, exactly. Give you that curated, this is what you should focus on.
Yeah, this is the best of the best of
Yeah.
these 10. So the 10 that they had in this episode are dividend stocks, rental properties, writing and selling ebooks, print-on-demand business, affiliate marketing, creating and selling digital products, running an automated dropshipping store, licensing music or sounds, YouTube ad revenue, and finally, investing in REITs, which are real estate investment trusts. So quite a variety there.
Yeah. A lot of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the key is finding what really suits you.
Right.
Right, whether that's like your skill set, your interest, even how much time and money you have to invest.
Yeah.
It could be really different.
Right. So hopefully, listening to this, you'll get a little bit more knowledge about each one of these.
Yeah.
And figure out which ones might be right for you.
Exactly.
All right. So let's jump in. Let's start with kind of a classic one here, dividend stocks. So tell me about these.
So dividend stocks are, a pretty traditional, I guess, way to potentially make passive income.
Okay.
The idea is when you buy shares of certain companies, they might give you a dividend, which is basically a little piece of the profit as a reward for investing. And so you can build a portfolio of these dividend-paying stocks and kind of receive a consistent income stream over time.
Gotcha. And the podcast episode we looked at, did they have some suggestions for getting started with that?
Yeah, they did. One thing they recommended is to start by looking at what they call blue chip companies. So these are those really large, well-known companies that are generally pretty financially stable.
Oh.
So, like a Coca-Cola or Johnson & Johnson, Apple.
Yeah.
They have a history of paying dividends.
Right. Makes sense because you want them to, be around in the future.
You want them to stay in business.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So they also mentioned something called dividend aristocrats.
Yeah.
What's that about?
Yeah, so dividend aristocrats, these are even a step above, I guess. They're companies that have not only paid dividends consistently, but they've actually increased their dividend payment every year for at least 25 years.
Wow.
So that's a pretty strong indicator that they're financially healthy.
Right.
And that they, care about giving back to the investors.
Right.
So that's something to look into.
So what about the actual steps for investing in dividend stocks?
Yeah, so they mentioned a few platforms. So there's Robinhood, Vanguard, Fidelity. These are all platforms that are pretty user-friendly.
Okay.
And a lot of them actually allow you to automatically reinvest those dividends. And that's where I think it gets really powerful.
Okay.
Because, you reinvest those dividends, you buy more shares, then you get even more dividends.
Yeah.
And it just kind of snowballs over time. So that can really accelerate your wealth growth in the long term.
Okay, that makes sense. Let's move on to another one that a lot of people are probably somewhat familiar with, rental properties. So you buy a property, you get some tenants in there, they pay you rent. I mean, that's pretty straightforward, but how does that become passive?
Right, so the passive income aspect is really in that regular rental payment you get.
Right.
And ideally over time, that property value will increase as well. So you get that benefit too.
Okay.
So you have that passive income stream, and then potentially, your investment is growing as well.
Gotcha. So what are some of the actionable steps to getting into the rental property game?
Yeah, so the podcast suggested to consider the different types of properties you could invest in, depending on your strategy or, the local market. So you could look at single-family homes, maybe a duplex where you live in one unit and rent out the other.
Okay.
Or even those larger multi-unit buildings, especially if they're in a high-demand area. They also talked about using online platforms like Zillow or Roofstock to kind of find and research properties.
Okay. So, but a lot of people might be thinking, managing tenants and maintenance and all that, that doesn't sound very passive. So what about that part of it?
Yeah, that's a good point. So one way they mentioned to make it more passive is to hire a property management company.
Okay.
So they take care of, the day-to-day stuff, finding tenants, screening them, collecting rent, handling repairs, dealing with any problems that come up.
Yeah.
And so It does cost money, but it can free up a lot of your time and make it way more hands-off.
Right. So what if you're interested in real estate, but you don't want to buy a whole property?
Right. They also mention platforms like Fundrise and Realty Mogul that let you invest in real estate with a smaller amount of money.
Oh, okay.
So they pool money from a bunch of investors, and then they manage a portfolio of properties.
Gotcha.
And you get returns based on your share.
So it's like a real estate mutual fund kind of thing.
Exactly.
Hi.
Yeah. And it gives you that exposure to the market without having to, put down a huge down payment or deal with being a landlord.
Right. Okay, that's cool. All right, let's move on to something that leverages knowledge, which is writing and selling ebooks. So what's that all about?
Yeah. So if you're an expert in something, you're passionate about something, you have a story to tell, you can write an ebook and sell it. And that's a great way to make passive income because once it's written, edited, published, it can just keep selling. And you get royalties without much more effort on your part.
Nice. Okay, so to get started with that, what did they say to do?
They said to focus on topics that people are already interested in.
Right.
Where there's a demand for information or entertainment.
Sure.
So this could be like self-improvement, business skills, health and fitness, even fiction genres. And the main platform they mentioned was Amazon KDP.
Yeah.
Kindle Direct Publishing. That's where you can publish and reach a huge audience.
Yeah.
So those are their main tips.
So for someone who, doesn't want to write a whole book, did they have any suggestions for them?
Yeah, they mentioned you could use AI writing tools.
Okay.
For things like outlining or even drafting.
Oh, cool.
Or you could hire freelancers to do things like editing, proofreading, formatting to make sure it's really professional.
Yeah, yeah. So what kind of income can you expect realistically from ebooks?
Yeah, so they said even if you sell your book for, $5 to $20, if you sell just 50 copies a month, that's a couple $100s of passive income. And obviously, if you have multiple books or you market them well, that can really grow. So the key is you do the work up front, and then the income becomes passive as you get those royalties.
Gotcha. All right, that's cool. Next up, print-on-demand business. This sounds like a way to sell products without having to deal with a bunch of inventory. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly it. So with print-on-demand, or POD, you can design and sell things like t-shirts, mugs, posters, all kinds of stuff without ever actually holding any stock yourself.
Okay, so how does that work? Like, where does the product come from when someone buys it?
So you partner with a POD platform like Redbubble, Teespring, or Printful, and you upload your designs to their platform. And then when a customer orders a product with your design, that platform handles everything, the printing, the shipping, all of that.
Oh, wow.
And then you get a profit margin on each sale.
That's amazing. So basically, I just need to focus on making good designs.
Pretty much.
Nice.
They said you can even start with simple designs, like text-based slogans, basic graphics that, appeal to a certain niche or interest group. And then, obviously, marketing is important. Get the word out, use social media, TikTok, Pinterest, drive traffic to your store.
Yeah.
And then once people start buying, it's pretty passive.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, let's move on to something that is all over the internet these days. Affiliate marketing. So it seems like everyone's an affiliate for something.
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Yeah, so tell me, how does it work?
Yeah, so basically you promote other companies' products or services. And when someone buys through your unique affiliate link, you get a commission.
Okay.
So it's kind of like being a salesperson, but without having to deal with the product or the customer service directly.
Right. So what do you need to do to become an affiliate marketer?
The first step is to join affiliate programs.
Yeah.
And there are tons of them out there.
Okay.
Like for almost anything you can think of. They mentioned Amazon Associates, Share a Sale, and Impact, some big networks. So once you're approved for a program, you get your unique links, and then you just have to find ways to integrate them into your content.
Okay.
So maybe you write blog posts, reviewing products, you make YouTube videos showing how to use them, even just sharing recommendations on social media.
Gotcha.
The key is to provide value to your audience and then naturally include your affiliate links where they make sense.
Yeah. So it sounds like if you already have a website or a YouTube channel, that's a good way to kind of leverage that audience.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So is it possible to make a lot of money with this, or is it just like small change?
No, you can definitely make significant income. They said that a lot of content creators, from bloggers to YouTubers, they actually make a huge chunk of their income through affiliate marketing.
Wow.
Some of them are making like really high monthly figures.
Yeah.
It's all about building trust with your audience and recommending products they'll actually find valuable.
Okay, cool. So next up, creating and selling digital products. So what makes these different from the physical products we've been talking about?
So digital products, they only exist online.
Okay.
So there's no manufacturing cost, no shipping, no storage. Once you create it, you can sell it an unlimited number of times.
Right. So what are some examples of things people are selling?
They mention online courses, so if you have a skill, you can teach people.
Mm-hmm.
Website templates, stock photos, digital fonts for designers, even things like ebook templates or fitness programs in PDF format.
Okay.
Basically anything that you can deliver digitally.
Gotcha. And how do you sell these? Like, where do you put them?
Yeah, so there are platforms specifically for selling digital products. They mentioned Gumroad, Etsy, which also does digital downloads, and Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing something like an online course, they mentioned Teachable and Udemy.
Okay.
Those are platforms specifically for that. And then they said the key to making it passive is to set up an automated delivery system.
Right.
So when someone buys your product, they get it right away without you having to do anything.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. So basically, create the product, automate the sales process, and then just sit back and collect the income.
Pretty much.
Nice. All right. Let's move on to a business model that I've been hearing a lot about lately. Automated dropshipping. So this sounds like it could be really good for passive income if you do it right.
Yeah, there's definitely potential there, but it takes some work up front to set it up.
Okay.
So the basic idea is you sell products online, but you never actually have to hold any inventory.
Mm-hmm.
So when someone orders from your store, you just forward that order to a third-party supplier and they ship it directly to the customer.
Okay, so what do you actually do then if you're not dealing with the product?
So you're basically focusing on setting up your online store, marketing the products, and handling customer service.
Mm-hmm.
So you're curating this selection of products and you're creating a good buying experience for the customer.
Okay, so how do you automate this?
They talked about using platforms like Shopify, which you can integrate with tools like Oberlo or CJ Dropshipping, and that helps you find and list products from suppliers. They also said it's important to find trending products, things that are in demand, and then you can automate things like advertising, using Facebook ads, TikTok ads to drive traffic to your store. And then you can also set up things like chatbots to answer basic customer questions and auto-fulfillment with your suppliers so you don't have to manually handle every order.
So they said some people are making like a lot of money with drop shipping. Is that like realistic?
Yeah, some people are definitely scaling their stores to 5 figures, 6 figures a month, but it's important to be realistic. It takes work to get to that point.
Right.
You got to do your market research, you got to set up the store properly, you got to market it effectively. It's not totally hands-off, especially in the beginning.
Okay. So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme.
Definitely not.
Okay. All right, this next passive income idea is for the musicians out there. Licensing music or sounds. So what's that about?
So this is a cool way for musicians, sound designers, audio creators to make money from their work. Basically, you allow other people to use your music or sound effects in their projects, like videos, commercials, podcasts, video games.
Yeah.
And they pay you a licensing fee for that.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you get your music out there for people to license?
They said you can upload your music to music licensing platforms like Epidemic Sound, Audio Jungle, Pond5. These platforms connect you with people who need music and sound effects. And then every time someone licenses your work, you get a royalty or a fee, depending on the platform and the license.
So it's a way to like make money from the work you've already done.
Exactly. Once you upload it, it can just keep earning you money every time someone uses it.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
All right, next up, we have something that most people are probably pretty familiar with, YouTube ad revenue. So how does this work as passive income?
Yeah, so YouTube's become a really big source of passive income for a lot of creators.
Right.
Once you get accepted into their partner program, you can monetize your videos with ads, and then you get a share of the revenue from those ads. And as you grow, you can even do things like sponsorships and channel memberships.
Gotcha. So to start earning money from YouTube ads, what do you need to do?
They emphasize the importance of evergreen content.
Okay.
That's content that stays relevant over time, like how-to guides, reviews, educational videos. And then you need to meet the requirements for the partner program, which is usually a certain number of subscribers and watch hours.
Okay.
And they also suggested using affiliate links in your video descriptions as another way to make money.
Gotcha. So is it really only the big YouTubers making money, or can smaller channels get something too?
They said even smaller channels with consistent uploads and an engaged audience can earn a decent amount from ads.
Okay.
The key is to build up a library of good content that people keep watching.
Gotcha. All right, last but not least, we have investing in REITs. So what are those, and how do they work for passive income?
REITs, which stands for Real Estate Investment Trusts, are basically a way to invest in real estate without actually owning property directly.
Okay.
So a REIT is a company that owns and operates income-producing real estate. So that could be apartment buildings, offices, shopping malls, warehouses, all sorts of things. And they make money from rent. And then they have to distribute most of that income to their shareholders as dividends.
Okay.
So it's like getting paid rent, but without being a landlord.
Gotcha. So how do you invest in REITs?
They said you can buy shares of REITs through your brokerage account, just like buying stocks.
Okay.
Platforms like Robinhood or M1 Finance offer them. And then, just like with dividend stocks, you can reinvest those dividends to grow your investment even faster.
So it's like a more passive way to get involved in real estate.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so that was a lot. 10 different passive income ideas. I mean, that's quite a range.
Yeah, it is, from investing to creating your own products to all sorts of online businesses.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the best approach really depends on you, right?
Right.
What are your skills? What are your interests? How much time and money do you have to invest?
Right. So hopefully, our listener, you got a good overview of these different ideas.
Yeah, we tried to break it down, make it easy to understand so you can see what might be a good fit for you.
So now you have to do the work and kind of figure out, okay, which one of these sounds the most interesting to me? Which one do I have the skills for or the time for?
Right, exactly.
And then maybe do a little research on your own.
Yeah, take that next step.
Yeah, and get started on building a little bit of that passive income.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining us. This was a lot of fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Later.